Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Don't see what's yours for the taking tonight. Ooh, show me your soul, baby. I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Can't you see it's way past time? How explicit do I have to be? I mean, I spell it out before you get it, baby. Show me your soul, and honey, I'll show you. I'll show you.
Not only is it Friday, but it's one humdinger of a show in store today, y'all. I'll tell you what. Look, did you notice during the the commercials and stuff were going on, and then the frying pan thing took forever to get up there? You know why? Because I was looking at Aaron Brooks's book and forgot I was even here doing this. I was like, sure got quiet, and then I looked over. Okay, so. Oh my goodness, you might remember that Aaron Brooks was my guest Monday here on the show, and we talked about his new book, Sincerity, and he sent me something a long time ago when he started writing. He said, "Oh, you're going to be in the book," and I didn't remember that till he said it on the show. And now I bought the book Monday. I ordered it rather, and it came, and I started, and I'll just tell you something. This book is so well thought out. I'm not kidding you. That he offered to just send me one, and I said, no, let me just buy it to support you. But I'm so glad I invested in it, because now I know I'm going to do something with it. And I had a feeling about that from the very beginning, that I should make sure I get this and not just stick it somewhere like, oh, look, someone sent me another book, right? I'm just keeping it real. And man, and I'm not saying that because I'm in it, although I am in the intro. Thank you, Aaron. What an honor. It just, when your own story of just being who you are comes back to you in ways you never expected, it's a true blessing, I want to encourage all of you. That is the greatest thing. I just love the 4 agreements. I truly do, and the 4th agreement is, It encourages us to always do our best. And, and that's just what it is on days, where you're not exactly, every day I sit in this chair Monday through Friday doesn't necessarily mean that I wake up going like, da 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 da, let's do a show. Well, let's do a show. You know what I'm saying? Some days you wake me like, oh, let's do the show. Right. But the minute you get in it and it's of service to others, all of a sudden, everything that felt like it was missing is not only back, but it is increased. Why? Because the people that sit in the front row seats of your life, like I look at all of you, and they bring everything you need when you don't have it for yourself. So I want you to be encouraged and remember that, right? Thank you again, Aaron Brooks, you guys. I'm going to get the link. I think Aaron might be here today. I hope so. If not, I'm going to put the link in where you can go and get your own copy of this. I highly recommend it. Sincerity, the recipe for living your best personal and professional life. And it's all about having sincere relationships. And I just, man, it had to be said. And I'm so glad somebody finally did. Thank you, Aaron. That is the bell of purpose. It rings when there is something in the atmosphere, something on the screen, something going on, frequencies up, tune-in factor up, everything about what we're pouring in and around each other is up. So that means don't take it for granted. Really pay attention, because, sometimes blessings and golden nuggets, they're like meteors, but you got to be like a ninja, a spiritual, an emotional ninja. So let's sharpen our swords and let's get limber up in here. Our theme this year here on the show is Show Me Your Soul, and I'll show you mine. And that's why I'm so excited about our guest today. Before I bring her in, before I get sued, she's back. She went and had her roots dyed yesterday, so she was off. Hi, welcome to the show, my sidekick. This is my version of Ed McMahon, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. Good. I bought organic bananas this week, and they were green. I never bought the green ones. I thought, oh, that's going to take forever to ripe. These babies were ripe like in a day. I literally thought I could see them turning. I'm telling you. Well, anyway, the reason I brought that up is our guest today, Carol Rodgers. Not only did she used to battle it out, it was her and Lola Falana. Right, her and Lola Falana. They were the top two. That's right, Lola Falana and Carol Rodgers. Few people know this, but yeah, Vegas, Lola Falana and Carol Rodgers. I'm kidding, I made that up. But anyway, Carol, she is like, you always hear about Renaissance men, but you don't really hear about Renaissance women. And Carol, in my opinion, is one of those. She's not only a wife, I'm giving you the order that I see it in. It's my universe, you're just visiting. I'm kidding. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a grandmother, she's a community advocate, she's an actress, she's an author, and a magazine columnist. And that's just to name a few. Seriously. And but I wanted to get Carol in here to shed some light on how it is that she does it all, because I don't think she gets it sometimes. I work with Carol, and I think sometimes that we need to be able to just share with everybody all the things that are passionate to us, so that people can pour back into us from what we've shared with them, to help us understand that we're exactly where we're supposed to be, as long as we're doing our best. And I know Carol is always doing her best. Sometimes we all need to be reminded of that. And that's why I'm glad she's here today. So in Bathrobe Moments fashion, let's be really sweet, really nice, and uplift our sister Carol as she comes in. So you guys pour your hearts into it and put some hearts on the screen, won't you please? Here she comes, Carol Rodgers. Carol Jean,
Hey.
didn't I tell you not to wear that skimpy outfit? I'm just kidding. I'm pretending I was a pastor and your father. I don't know where that came from. But I get around you and I want to go into character, because you're always doing something. Community theater, those murder mysteries. And I'm really a little bit jealous. I've never admitted it, but I just got it out. I've purged and we're ready to move forward. It's not about me today. It's about you. Well, wait a minute. It's kind of a little bit about me always. So I'm kidding. Carol, I'm so happy you're here. We're going to have a good time. How are you?
I'm good today, Lauren. How are you?
Good. Are you a ventriloquist? Because I swear I did not see your mouth move just now.
You
Oh, you
didn't
were
see?
frozen.
Oh,
Told
well,
you I was
thank
gonna
you
get
for
it in.
having me today.
Mm.
And I better remember all those good things you said, because I don't know when I'm going to hear them again.
Carol is playing, y'all. She playing. Don't start sending me hate mail and throwing bricks through my car. We work together. We should probably explain that Carol and I have been coaching together. Carol works with me. I'm her coach for, well, how long now? Over 2 years.
About 2, yeah.
About 2 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I, when I talk about it, how come I always add 6 or 7 months to it? I'm kidding, but Carol, seriously, and I want everybody to know, yeah, I made all that up about Lola Falana. It was really Diane Carroll. I always joke with you. I love that about you, though. You remind me of a Diane Carroll. You remind me of a Madge Sinclair, those kinds of women, because they just made everything. They're like our Black version of Martha Stewart in a way, but with a little more seasoning, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
And I love that because you do so many things. So I'm going to ask you, I listed just a few of the things that you do because you're big on continuing education. You got, and we're going to talk about all that stuff. But just from the list that I put out there today, have you ever been considered, or do you consider yourself an overachiever?
Not really. I don't consider. Did things that I want to accomplish, and I just work on those things.
Constantly. You have a lot of things going. If you could see all the things that Carol has, she would be the world's greatest juggler if they were like bowling balls or pins or something. But you do it somehow. So here's just a couple of things. Huh?
I said somehow.
You do acting, virtual. You guys during the pandemic, I know you're with a group called SPA. What does that stand for? SPAA?
Speakers, Publishers, Authors Association.
Now you've been involved there for a long time, right?
Yeah, for several years, and I've been in many of their plays.
So what is it they do? I mean, we heard the acronym, but what is it that they really do? I know it's a community organization.
Yeah, it's an organization for people who would like to learn how to write their book, learn how to speak better, who already have a manuscript and maybe want it published. We work with you on that. So it's pretty much a training organization. Yeah.
Okay.
And I am the national trainer.
Oh, it's national.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not
It's
know.
international.
Okay.
Pakistan, China.
Well, y'all everywhere but on a space station.
I guess so.
Give us a minute. Right.
Give us a minute.
I love it though, and I really enjoyed, watching you do your thing, and especially during the pandemic when we couldn't get out, you guys were still doing things. So let's talk about you. You said manuscripts and stuff. Now you've written already. Yes. How many books have you written?
I have written 2 books, but I've been in several collaborations.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the first little guide that, because your stuff is so different. Your writings are so diverse. You have the book Ice, which is in case of emergency. Talk about that first. That's like a home guide, which you wouldn't think, I think I'm gonna make a guide that people can keep in the pantry next to the fire extinguisher, in the drawer, in the kitchen. So in case of emergency, people know what to reach for all in one place. I think it's a brilliant idea. Where did it come from, and why did you think it was so important that you write it?
Well, it came out of dealing with my dad. My dad was he was as independent as he could be. He was on a walker. He couldn't drive anymore, but he did anything he could do for himself. That's what he did. And he got sick, and we had to rush him to the emergency room. And of course, when the paramedics come, they ask you all these questions. What happened? When did it happen? How old is he? Is he on any medications? How many times a day? Then they put you in the ambulance. They take you to the emergency room. When you get to the emergency room, they ask you the same questions. Then if they have to be hospitalized, go upstairs in the hospital. And even though they have all that stuff in the system from the emergency room, they ask you all that stuff again. And what I found is that a lot of people just didn't have that information. And the information was the medication, who prescribed it, how much it take, what is the name of it, how long have they been taking it, all those kinds of questions. And since I was his power of attorney, I needed to have that on hand. So that got me to thinking that if I thought I knew it all and I didn't, how many other people didn't know it? I mean, down to the social security number, the insurance.
Yeah, a lot of
details, exactly.
And I would imagine that a person in that situation, no matter if you knew it was happening or whenever you got to go, I hate it. Two places I can't stand going in. The smell and just it changes for me. I just my heart, my hands, everything. And that's visiting somebody in jail. Emphasis on the visiting because I don't go there no more. Because I know what some of y'all haters were saying. I'm just playing. but in hospitals.
Yeah,
it's all them different sounds going on radios and anybody can fill me on that. Anybody hate those two places? Put in the comments.
Yeah.
But my point is when those situations find themselves a part of our reality, it's bad enough because you're worried, you're concerned, who you got to make calls. You don't know a lot of things you don't have control of suddenly. So that is one place where you can have control of things where you can just say it's all in here. Right? You get it and you fill it in. So, okay, so that's ICE in case of emergency. How do people get their hands on it?
Actually, it's not published yet. It'll be published in July. It's in editing.
Okay, so as soon as it's available, you'll let us know. Maybe we'll get you back here even. And I think it's a great idea. Really, really. I mean, because, I had that situation when I was a kid and my mom, we had just gotten groceries and I was bringing in the last bag of groceries. That's my first mom, the adopted mom who passed away, which then I went to the system. But I was the only one there with her. And I was just a little kid. And there was no 911. It was just an operator back then, and they taught me how to do that. I knew how to do that. I wasn't dumb, but I didn't know what to say. And I was panicking because just in one pass, brought in a bag, came back to get the next one. She's laying on the floor, talking out of her head, calling me somebody named Gordon. You know what I mean? Right. And I'm like, quit playing, Mom. What's wrong with you? And that's in my mind forever. And I'll say this too. A lot of people, if something should turn out like mine did, my mom never came home again. But for a lot of years, and I never told anybody, I carried a lot of guilt, even as a kid, about did I do enough? What if I'd have done this? How come, so I'm really thinking that what you got there is a great thing and everybody get your hands on it when it's available. So let's talk about this other writing. Now, you wrote ICE under the name of Carol Rodgers, correct?
Right.
But then when you write fiction and stuff, you have a pen name.
Yes, I do.
Okay, talk about that. Who is she or he? Why? And why do writers do that? Why do that? I know a lot. Nora, what's her name? Nora
Roberts.
Yeah, and then she's J.D. Robb.
J.D. Robb.
Right. A lot of authors do that. Talk about that. What is that? Is that like y'all, you go into like an actor goes into a character? What is that?
Well, I wanted to keep the writing separate from when I wrote fiction and when I wrote nonfiction. So the In Case of Emergency book is nonfiction, so I write that under my name.
Right.
But Dakota Kelly is my pen name, and I do fiction under Dakota Kelly. So that's just pretty much to keep it separate. And to, you have a base of nonfiction writers, and then you have a base of fiction writers. And sometimes they cross.
So when you become Dakota Kelly, probably in that room you're sitting there sometime. So and Carol's husband's name is John, so just pretend I'm John. So you Carol 1 second, and then you shut the door and they don't know you transform. And when you put on like a different outfit or something, and then you're Dakota Kelly, and then John knocks on the door. Carol, You plan on making it? Who is that? Ain't no Carol up in here. This Dakota. I'm just saying. How deep do you go?
No, I don't get in character yet, but
Tell the truth, you got a red Dakota Kelly wig, don't you?
you know I do have a red wig.
See?
two in fact. But
Mhm.
therefore when I'm performing, so.
Yeah, well, keep it up. One day you're gonna get a box and it's gonna get delivered. It's gonna be an evening gown, and you're gonna say, "Oh, thank you, Johnny. That ain't for you. That's for Dakota Kelly." But you have a book now. That's, isn't it? I think just about to the edit stage, or what is it? Hell in the House, a Dakota Kelly, the first Dakota Kelly novel. Talk
Yeah,
about.
the very first. The very first Dakota Kelly novel. In fact, it's due to the editor next week.
Yeah.
The 22nd. Yeah, it's due to the editor. So I have to complete my edits and then send it to the editor. But but Hell in the House is about 3 different women, and the the mental, emotional, and financial abuse that they suffer in their respective churches, and pretty much how they overcame it.
In their church.
In the churches, yeah.
No.
Because so many people, they see the physical, but these women aren't physical. But I wanted to shine the light on these other abuses because, those are abuses you cannot see.
Right.
And those are abuses that do a lot of damage.
Well, okay, we know it's nonfiction, but even nonfiction, just like comedy, a certain amount of it, they say, is always rooted in reality. So why? Okay, I guess I can say, so these are real issues.
Mm-hmm.
Do I hear?
Yep, you
Jackson,
do.
your grandson, is he
Yep.
at the door?
Yep.
You guys, every time Carol has a session every week, he comes and knocks on the door, comes in, and Jackson, he's 2, right?
He just made 3.
He just turned 3. Okay, so he's like, let's put it this way. He's Oprah and Carol is Stedman. So let's put it that way. That's how it goes over there. And you know what? I'm glad he did that because I wanted to talk about that. Carol, wife, mother, grandmother, all these things you do. Let's switch over for a second from the books and stuff. We'll come back to that. But I wanted to ask you about, because
I'm on the podcast.
who are you talking? Okay. We didn't see it. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I can't talk right now. I told you, sis, I'll pay you when I pay you. Anyway, I'm back, Lauren. I'm sorry, that was Sears. Okay, so listen, you have a lot of people in your house. It's almost like the Waltons, and you love it that way. Talk about that. How many people? We talked about that when you were on last time during COVID, what it was like, because it was like 5 people, right, and a baby.
5 people and a baby.
Wasn't it your husband, you?
My husband, me, my daughter, her husband, her son, his niece.
Oh.
And my other son. So it was 7, but then at one point it was 8 and 2 dogs.
And 2 dogs. And you have I wanted to get to the point about what it feels like when you have all these other things, because there are a lot of people that have that situation, or it's even deeper, where the parents aren't there. And I'm talking about shared parenting from a grandparent standpoint. How do you, I already know the answer, but I want you to speak to what that actually brings to your life, because, you and I both know who really runs that house, and he was just at the door. But, I look forward to him and his energy. So I can't imagine that it doesn't pour into you. Talk about that. Does that have an effect on how it allows you, as we move further into the aging process, to keep everything going and have that energy that you might not have thought you had if you didn't have all that energy running around the house? How's that feel?
It feels really good. In fact, he's my only grandchild, and
Oh,
exactly, he's
right.
the only son, only child, only grandchild, only nephew,
Yeah.
and so everybody spoils him, and he's spoiled.
Clearly.
Hmm.
Seriously.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for the day he pull
he
up in
has,
the driveway in your car talking about, let me hold something. And I'm like, aren't you 4 in a week? I'll be 4 in a week. Because he's
yeah,
so
he
grown.
has two Mercedes.
Yeah, does he those little ones?
Yeah, he has two Mercedes, the electronic cars where he can get in and ride them.
And drive, yeah.
So he drives them. He has a motorcycle.
So Carol, what would you say? What is it that I don't even know how to frame that question. But do you feed on that youthful spirit? I mean, because you're around it. I feed on it just standing outside listening to the neighbor kids. I posted something the other day where I was listening on the deck, just kind of not intently listening, but you could hear them playing. And I heard in the midst of all this tag and stuff, one kid yelled out, "Hey, let's go play a board game." And I just kind of looked up and breathed a sigh of relief because I was like, see, there still is hope. Because, you think everything is this with kids now, but they are savvy at it. But I'm finding that because I think COVID had a lot to do with it. Kids had to
Yeah.
find other things to do. But I really do love the energy of play. And let's talk about that because you do a lot. Now, I know that at Spa 2, back a few months ago, because you asked us to support it, and we did, you guys did that nonprofit thing for the kids about abstinence and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you really do pour into you. Talk about why that's so important to you because you have daughters yourself.
Yeah, but my daughters
And a
are
son.
adults now.
Right. But I'm saying
But
you raised kids.
when they were teenagers, they were in an abstinence program, which is what SPA's Choices or Consequences is. It's an abstinence program, and it's from ages 10 to 13. And it teaches them not only about abstinence, but about bullying, about self-esteem, self-worth, things like that.
Yeah.
And it's a monthly program. It meets once a month at the end of every month.
Okay. And if people want to get more information, I think it's an international organization, and national. So if you want to find out more information, we're going to give you Carol's connectors at the end of the broadcast. So stay tuned for that. Now, when we come back from our short and brief, that's the same thing. Scratch that. When we return from our brief commercial break, I saw that. What was that? Oh.
Nothing.
Oh, so okay, we halfway through. So you say, okay, see y'all. You see, I wanted to explain why I don't have a robe on today because I knew it was gonna get hot up in here. So I said I'm ditching the robe because Carol keeps me on my toes. You guys, when we come back, we're gonna talk to Carol Rodgers about other things like her mission to get women over 50 out of the house, out of the flats, into the hills, and into whatever it is that makes them feel the best version of themselves. I speak of a little group called the Gold Shoe Society, designed to speak and work with women over 50. We're going to get into that and a couple other things. Carol's magazine column, that is monthly Cafe Conversations, and more when we return. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle.
And we're back. Welcome to today's installment, the Friday edition of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and we're in the middle of the hour featuring our guest today, Carol Rodgers. Before we get Carol back in, if you would like to take your businesses, your brand, your mission, your message from a dream to the screen, get with us at Electric Revival Digital Content Creation. All of the ads and promos, the digital logo reveals, and all of that sort of thing that you see here on Bathrobe Moments is created through Electric Revival Digital Content Creation. So if we can help you get your dream on the screen, holler at us. We'll be sure to help. Thank you. And Carol Rodgers back in the house. Hi, Carol.
Hi.
Thank you for being here again. We talked about the books and a few other things before break, but coming back, I wanted to start actually before we get into some of your other things, the magazine article, the column for the magazine, and a couple other things. What do you feel? How do you feel about women who, hit that midpoint of life, say 50 and over, and they find that they've, retired or raised a family? A lot of women who sacrifice their own dreams because, to raise a family, provide, and do all the things. How important is it to find a place to start folding those things back in and reaching for those for self-fulfillment? So really self-fulfillment, how important is that to you, and why do you do some of the things you do to help other women see the importance in it?
Well, it's important because you aren't dead yet. And there's just so much life left to live. If your life was about your job and you retired and then that's all it is for you is about your job, then I can see, maybe you don't have any aspirations anymore. Maybe all you want to do is relax. And that's fine, but I just feel that most women have had dreams that they put to the side, or things that they wanted to do that they haven't been able to do. And now, once you hit a certain age, you realize more of who you are, and you realize more of who you can become. And you realize it ain't over even if the fat lady is singing.
Right.
You just keep going. So I just do those things that interest me. And some way I get them done. So these are things that I've always wanted to do, but raising a family, working, going through everyday life, there was just not much time or opportunity.
Right.
But now, I just don't feel that, I feel it's my time now. That's how I feel. And I feel like I can take it. Even though other things come up, I feel I can take my time. When my dad got sick for the last time, there's 7 of us, and there were 6 of us who could help out, and we all did. We all went to his house every day and did what we could, because we didn't want him in a nursing home. So, but that didn't push what I wanted to do aside. It may have, it had got to the point where maybe I couldn't do what I needed to do as much. But even in writing, you can take 15 minutes a day and do something, so in between all of that, I still, worked on things.
Well, and you have a group of women around you. It's on the screen, you guys. This is the Facebook page for the Gold Shoe Society. So talk about, it says Society and Culture website, celebrating women with over 50 years of magnificence. And it's a new group, a year old now. Talk about this group. What's it all about? And why did you feel it was important to get this out there, and who's it for?
Well, the reason I felt it was important is, and no disrespect intended, but every time I open a magazine, it's some young person. And when we have the commercials, it's some young person, and that's okay. But I felt like we over 50, we weren't represented correctly, because when you see us, it's a Metamucil commercial. Uh, it's something about insurance, your last days, buy this insurance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there are some beautiful women who are over age 50. I mean, absolutely gorgeous women. And when you look at them, you could never tell they were over 50. Now, you've had Jan on the show, and Jan is 80. And
She
she does,
is?
well, she either made 80 in December, or she will be.
Oh, I'm
She
crazy.
tells her age. She tells her age.
She
So
does. Not,
that's
right.
why I feel comfortable
Of
telling
course.
it.
And she's watching. She on here. I saw, did you see me put her name up? And the thing is, it's more than just how we look, too. These women look it, but act it. And more importantly, they feel.
Jan is
They look.
beautiful. She is beautiful. And
Yes,
she is so active.
She is.
I think she's going to hit
She
125.
needs to
That's
sit
what I
down
think.
sometime. I'm just kidding. I know. And you know what? There's a woman on my cul-de-sac here that's the same way, and she's 86 or something. And I'm always out there trying to outdo her. She out there shoveling at 9 o'clock at night in the winter. I'm like, oh, Edith's out there. Okay. So I'm out there. But I mean, I look to those examples. They motivate me that what can be. Look at Betty White. Dang. So women over 50, you guys, I didn't miss me that you've got 6-inch heels in your logo. What's that all about? Is that age appropriate for women over 50?
It's age appropriate for women over 50. Oh. Yes, it is.
Oh.
Because you know what? Because we look good.
Behind that one.
And we're sexy too.
Yes.
And we are not ready to go out to pasture. In fact, you get a fight if you try to even suggest it.
And we are living longer.
Exactly.
I just heard something on NPR yesterday about that, and I really was surprised because I didn't think we were, but apparently we are. So what are some of the things you do or could recommend for women that they might need to take a look at, like to rev up the engine a little bit? What are some of the things you do to keep it vibrant? What about, let's say shopping? How do you know? A lot of it's online. You know who they're putting, and they're not even online. A lot of the stuff isn't on a person. It's just standing there on its own. You know what I mean? What about this? What barometer does a woman over 50 use to know if something, because I have seen, Carol, some people that in stuff, men and women, shouldn't be in it. Because come on now.
But that's any age. That's
I'm just saying, like if you're 65 trying to look like Cyndi Lauper used to look, that kind of thing. So how do you know how do you know? Like, okay, that's good, or you shouldn't have done that.
Well, actually, again, there are women who are 25 who shouldn't be in certain things.
Oops.
But the thing is, I can't even say if it looks good, because it just depends on your mindset. There was on a television show, a grandmother who had more rolls than a French bakery. And she had on this really, really tight outfit, and she thought she looked good, but then they gave her a makeover, and they toned her down, and she looked even better.
She looked even better.
So again, I really don't know how to answer that question.
Well, let me ask you. Before COVID, you have 2 daughters, and they're gorgeous.
Yes.
Right. And
they are.
I see a lot. Right. I see a lot of you in them. And I because I was at your one daughter's wedding. And so did you guys ever go shopping together? Do they say like, oh, Mom, you should wear this, or you should try this? Or do you tell them? I mean, how is that? Can you go shopping with them and feel like you're not a fish out of water?
Oh, I definitely can, because some of the things that I pick out to wear, and some of the shoes that I wear, I mean, they come to my closet.
Oh,
and they take my things. And of course, I hit the COVID 10, and some of the things fit them now more than it fits me.
right.
So,
Have at
yeah.
it.
So, yeah. Well, I give it to them anyway. They just come and they take it. And a lot of times I will bring something into the house and it never makes it to my closet.
See? So, Carol, the Gold Shoe Society, who's it for? I mean, what kind of woman are you finding gravitating to the group?
Well, the group is for any woman 50 and over because we can have dialogues there. We can talk about our experiences and things that we've gone through. We can find camaraderie there. So it's basically a group for women who've been through life, who made it through to 50, who've been through some changes, made it through, realizing who they are, and have come through like gold. Gold, you put it in a refiner's fire and they keep it there until they see their reflection. Well, we're a group, we've seen our reflection, we know who we are, and we are not ready to go down.
I hear you.
So that's who the group is for. But, however, if you still want to sit by the fire and knit, you're still welcome. But the group was created for you.
Okay. I'm trying to wait a minute. You know what I was trying to do, right?
Shut me up.
No, I'm trying. No, not at all. I'm trying to get over to so we can talk about your column. And
okay.
I call myself pulling it up, right? And then that music started playing. Remember that?
Yeah, but let me just say the group is for any woman over 50. It was created by Janice Portman and Brenda Jeffries and I. And we still had a voice, and we felt that our voice was trying to be silenced because, again, when you see most women over 50, they look like our grandmothers, and we aren't that woman anymore.
Well, all right.
Haven't you heard? 50? I mean, 60 is the new 30.
Right, and it's true. So I love it. I love it. I love it. And so we have that connector. So if any of you or anyone is a woman over 50 who is looking to convene and fellowship with other women around the globe, because they have women from all over the world in there, just sharing their experiences of the women they are today. So I highly encourage it. We're going to drop that in. Now, tell us about, you have a new column. That is a monthly column over. There it is on the screen. Cafe Conversations with Carol Rodgers. Now, this music is driving me nuts, and I don't think you guys can hear it, so I'm getting back over. There it is. I showed it. Talk about that. What's this all about? A monthly column? Is it an advice column? What kind of column is it?
It's basically, well, I guess you could say it's a mishmash so far. It's about advice column. It's about conversations, that people have, things of the day. It could be about children. It could be about travel, just the conversation about it, and then just advice column.
Just an advice. Well, because you are eclectic. I said at the beginning of the hour, you're kind of like a Renaissance woman, because I did mention all the other little hobby things you dip into, like raw foods and juicing and all these different things. I'm like, good Lord, Carol, is there anything you don't do? And I've asked you, you schooled me on my own juicer when I got it, and I didn't know that was even in there. So I want to ask you about, how do you even have time for a hobby?
You know what? I wonder myself. I don't even think about it. It's almost like you know, that closet that has all these things in it. And if there's space for one more thing that you can push in there, you just push it in there and you just get it done. But
Well,
I think it helps keep my mind sharp. It helps to keep me balanced, because these are some things that I've always wanted to do. And then the opportunity presents itself. And if I feel that I can take it on, I do. And if I don't feel that way, then I don't.
now you grew up in a family full of women. You have a bunch of sisters.
Sisters and brothers.
Sisters and brothers, but there's a lot of girls.
4 girls, three men, 3 women, I have to say.
Okay.
I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters.
Okay, so there's 4 girls and then a mom.
And my mom and my dad just passed away.
Right. So let's talk about that really quick, because that's a big thing. I've heard Dr. Jan talk about it. You know, as we get older, and this is men and women over 50, but as we get older and the roles begin to switch between the parent-child dynamic, and you've been dealing with that, and especially because your father, he passed during COVID, correct?
At the very beginning of the lockdown.
At the very beginning of the lockdown. How's your mom doing today? And how was that? If we can just ask. I know I'm so grateful that we're starting to get into a more normal situation. Things are loosening up and whatnot. Not out of the woods completely yet, but well on our way. But back then, just a year ago, it was a quite different story. So how was that within your family, and not being able to get, I don't know, how did you do it? I mean, was that back when you couldn't even be inside of a funeral home or anything? Oh yeah,
exactly.
The flowers and all that. I remember. Talk about that if you could. How you got through that?
Well, I guess because of all the things that I do, I don't know that I've really grieved yet, because there was so much going on. I was his power of attorney, and he got sick, and he went to the hospital, and that's another story which I talk about in my book. And they did allow me to be in the emergency room with him, but there could only be one person. Usually it would be all of us at the hospital taking turns in and out of his room, but there could only be one person. And we were there for several hours, and they took him to his room. And I think that was the last time I saw him in person, when he was on his way to his room, because nobody could come upstairs. He couldn't have any visitors, and he couldn't understand why. Although they did let us talk to him on the phone. And as his condition deteriorated, they wanted me to put him in hospice, and I didn't want to do it. So then they let somebody come to see him so they could see his condition. But when he passed away, then they allowed me to come see him when he passed. I mean, it would have been nice to see him before he passed. So after that, the funeral home, only 2 people could come and view the body. And we didn't have a funeral because only 6 people could come. And of course, he had 7 children and a wife. So we decided to have something graveside and to do a memorial service later, because we buried him. And at the gravesite, they didn't want us out of the car. So they let only a few of us out and surprisingly, they did let us switch once. So it was kind of hard. It was kind of hard.
I'm sure. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. But let me ask you, because as a writer, do you we've seen in television shows, like many of them that have started, shooting again and putting new episodes out, that they've incorporated the storyline of last year of this COVID pandemic and into the actual, shows. Do you think you'll write a book where the COVID experience is inside of the story?
I probably will, but I do kind of detail that in the book In Case of Emergency, because there were a lot of things that went along with that. A lot of things that I didn't know in dealing with the funeral home and the cemetery, and then before that, when he was in rehab. So all those things are in the book, and some things to look for and questions to ask, and things like that. Yeah, because I think that there'll be a workbook created with it, so that people can just fill in the blank and have it in a special place, so that if they ever need it in case of emergency, all the information is right there.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where you just want to get it done, take the time, complete it, and have it so that it is there for peace of mind.
Right.
In case of emergency. Great title. And this any other. So anything else? Let's ask you this. So it seems like your plate is full and you're at the buffet of life, so to speak. But some of us always feel like there's room for a little bit more. What do you see? What's in the future for Carol Rodgers, aka Dakota Kelly, aka the new Lola Falana? And Carol. Sinclair.
Well, actually, I've started just a little bit on my next fiction book. I started on that a little bit.
Is there a title? A working title?
Yeah, it's called The Gift.
The Gift?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, did you write about me? I'm kidding.
No, it's kind of based on a true story, although it will be fiction. It's based on a true story. It's my grandmother's grandmother was given away as a gift when she was a slave, and she was given away as a gift when she was 7. So that's what it's going to be based on.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's nonfiction.
No, because it'll be based on a true story, but the whole thing won't be.
So that's what that means when we see that at the start of a movie or something. When it says based on a true story, means that the core of it is there, but we've embellished and made it really exciting for edutainment purposes. Oh, okay, I get it.
Exactly.
So that's really wow. So is there, I would assume there's going to be a lot of research, or you've done that already?
Oh, definitely. No, I have done no research as far as the little bit that I know of the story. But I have not done research. It's just that, just bits and pieces. I have a folder.
Where you have a process, clearly.
Exactly.
So Carol, on the screen right now is your Gmail for my Cafe Conversation. And this is for people who want to submit questions to the column, anything like that? Yeah,
they can submit questions or, ask about different conversations if they read it. In fact, you put the cover up of the latest column in the Global Achievers magazine. That's where the column can be found.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you have any questions that you want answered, or any conversations that you've had that you would like to talk about, mycafeconversation@gmail.com is the place to send it.
Awesome. What about photos? What if somebody wants to send a photo to kind of substantiate or support what they're talking about? Can they send those?
Sure.
Okay.
They
New
can
baby,
send the
new
photo.
puppy, new husband, new wife, whatever. Okay, and then here again is the Gold Shoe Society over on Facebook. If you are a female over 50 and you want to share and pour into, learn from, have conversations with women all around the globe who fit the same criteria, that's where you go for that. Carol, thank you so much. The first book is Ice in Case of Emergency, and they can get in touch with you with the Gmail about that, or the new book when it comes out, Hell in the House, which will be out, I think, before the summer's over, right?
No, Ice, in Case of Emergency will be out in July.
You're lying.
And Hell in the House will be out in October.
In October, just in time for the holidays.
Just
Okay.
in time.
Carol, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. And I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come here and share everything with us here on Bathrobe Moments. And we will see you all Monday. I'm so excited that my guest is Natan Bradbury. That was one of, you've been seeing his promo for his new 4-month program. So he will be here. He is like a ninja inside and out, literally one. And just one of the most Zen-like people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. So he'll be here Monday morning. An exciting week next week, you guys. You don't want to miss it. In the meantime, get out there, have the best weekend possible, live your best life possible, and pour into people to the best of your ability. The 4 agreements, the final one is to always, always, always do your best. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris. This has been Bathrobe Moments. I'll see you Monday morning out front on the front porch for our next installment. Have a blessed weekend and be the blessing you'd like to see in the world. Carol, thank you again. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine.